Hello all, welcome back to the lecture Variables and Data Types. I am Raji Enna, my sign name is Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, National Institute of Speech and Hearing, NISH, Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. This is my second lecture on C programming. Let us recap what we learnt in last lecture. We saw what is a programming language, history and importance of C, and also the basic syntax of a C program. Today, these are the topics that we are going to learn. Consider a program. This program adds two integer numbers and prints their sum. So, first we have to declare the variables in memory and give name to these memory areas, that is num1, num2 and sum. Then num1 is equal to 10. This stores 10 in num1 and num2 is equal to 20. This stores 20 in num2. Now, add the contents of memory area num1 and num2 and store the result in the memory area sum. Next, print the content of memory area where sum is stored, that is variable sum. Hope you understood this problem. Keywords are predefined, reserved words used in programming. They have special meanings. In the example, int is a keyword. That is, it says num1, num2 and sum memory areas can store only integer values. So, int is a keyword which has a special meaning. Similarly, there are many other keywords used in C language. There are 32 basic keywords in C language. Variables. Now, let us see what a variable is. We have named memory areas to store values. These named memory areas are called variables. In the example program, variables are num1, num2 and sum. So, remember these points. Variables are used to store values. A variable is a named area of storage. It can store a single value, numeric or character. That is, you cannot store more than one value in a variable at the same time. You cannot store 10 and 20 in the same variable num1. One variable can store only one value. The value of variable changes throughout the program. For example, int num1 is equal to 10 stores 10 in variable num1. Let the next statement be num1 is equal to 20. This statement removes 10 from num1 and stores 20 in it. Rules for naming a variable. There are some rules to name a variable. A variable name can only have letters, both uppercase and lowercase letters, digits and underscore. The first letter of a variable should be either a letter or an underscore. Uppercase and lowercase are significant. That is, the variable .amt is not same as .amt and .amt. The variable name may not be a C keyword. For example, you cannot use int as a variable name because it is a keyword. Consider these variable names. One SUM is not a correct variable name. Why? You can't start a variable name with a number. Flag -exit. Hyphen symbol is not allowed. This one, hash symbol is not allowed. 234 is not a valid variable name because we cannot start a variable name using a digit. N.count, here dot is not allowed in a variable name. Again, first letter should be either a letter or an underscore, not hyphen. Data types. In the example, we used the keyword int. This keyword says that the variables num1, num2 and sum can store only integer values. It reserves 2 or 4 bytes of memory for each variables. So, we can say num1 is a variable of integer data type. Similarly, to store decimal numbers, we use variables of float data type. It reserves 4 bytes of memory for each variable. If we want to store characters, then use data type char, C-H-A-R. In this example, float A, 4 memory of bytes are reserved to store a float value. Char B reserves 1 byte of memory to store a char value. Data types are the type of values that can be stored in a computer. There are 5 basic data types associated with variables: int, integer; float, to store a floating point value; that is a number with decimal part, double precision floating point value, char a single character, void it is a special valueless type. Declaration of a variable. When we want to use a variable, we have to declare the type of value that the variable can store. A declaration gives the name of the variable and data type of a variable used in the program. Here, int is variable data type and num is the variable name. This says num is a variable, it can store only integer values. For example, char a tells that a is a variable, it can store a character value. Float b, this tells that b is a variable that can store a floating value. So, we have to declare a variable before we use it. Input and output. Input means to give data to the program. Output means to display data on screen or file. How can we give values to the variables? C has some special functions called library functions. One of the library functions used to give input to a variable is scanf, and one of the library functions used to display the value is printf. Both these functions are defined in the header file stdio.h. Hope you remember the preprocessor statement we used in the first program. So, to use printf or scanf, we have to include this header file stdio.h. Now, consider this program. This is the preprocessor statement. This includes the header file stdio.h, so that we can use printf and scanf. I is a variable of data type integer, means I can store integer values only. This prints the text, enter a value on the screen. This stores the value entered by the user in the variable I. So, what is %d? It is the format specifier. It says the format of the value we accepted from the user. For different data types, different format specifiers are used. %d for integers, %f for floating point number, %c for a character, %s a character string. This prints the value stored in I with the text, that is, it replaces the %d in printf statement with value of conclude this lecture. Hope you understood what is a variable and how they are used. See you in the next session. Thank you.